What up, Screen Fiends? I'm GB, and you're tuned in to Headz TV, where we like to discuss all the wonderful things appearing on your movie and your TV screens. In this episode, I'm going to give my review of American Gods Season 1, Episode 4, titled Get Gone. Now, before I get into the review, let me just say that this is how you handle a standalone or a bottle episode. Some shows do it right, like this. Other shows, there's many missteps in their bottle or standalone episodes, and it hurts the show in the long run. I'm not going to go start listing shows on either side of that argument. But all of these dramas out there that use standalone episodes or plan on continuing to use them or to start using them should really take note in shows like American Gods, or I'll throw one good one out there, or like Lost, where when you have a standalone episode that's really focused on one character, major or small, it's a great thing to help understand the character and to give character development, and I get that. And that's where most shows go wrong, that it's only about character development and only about character growth and only about making the audience understand the character. And what they forget to do is tie it into the plot, or make it at least not, even if it's not painfully obvious, at least make the audience aware that somehow this either ties in or will tie into the plot of the show. It can't just be on retrospect when you get to a bunch of episodes later or a couple of seasons later, and then you look back and go, oh, I get it, that makes sense. It needs to make sense in the moment while you're watching the episode. And there are shows out there that they don't utilize the standalone episode properly. It can be used for both. And this episode of American Gods proves that you can have a standalone that gives character development and growth, lets the audience understand the character or their relationships much better than we did before, but still adds to the plot, not in an obvious way, well, in a sort of obvious way, right? Halfway through. But it lends to the plot, and it helps move the story along. Okay, that being said, I'm going to do probably a video all about bottle episodes, and I'll be able to go into that a little bit more in depth. All right, now to the matter at hand. Sorry for rambling. I just had to get that out there because American Gods did it so well. Now, after episode 3, I wasn't worried about the show or anything, but I didn't really care for episode 3 for numerous reasons. And no, it's not what everyone says is the obvious one. I get into this I don't want to say argument, but this conversation many times since the last episode, where it's not about the gay sex scene at all. It has to do with the story, not just in that sequence, but the overall story of that episode with the bank robbery and all of that. I did like the stuff with the sisters, and I like the stuff with Shadow, and does he have powers, doesn't he have powers, and all that, but the episode fell flat in comparison to the first two. This one takes a big step forward, and I'll tell you this. I wouldn't have guessed that a standalone episode with the wife, Laura, would be the episode to pull me back in. When the episode started and we didn't get our, typical opening scene with dealing with American history and the gods, I did miss that. But the first half of this episode serves as that somewhere in America opening scene that we get in the other episodes. It's really like the whole first, 20 minutes of the episode, half an hour maybe even, all the way up to when she gets sent back to Earth as like zombie Laura, right? That it really starts to move forward. But I liked it. The way it was handled was great. And I'll tell you, out of all the actors and actresses we've come across in this show so far, the little tiny bit we saw of the wife before this, which wasn't much at all, I was questioning her acting ability. And I hated the way she was saying Poppy. But now it appears that it's Puppy she's saying, I guess. I don't know. But that's what the friend says, that's why she called him Puppy, because he was more like a pet to her than a husband. I don't know. But the whole story was amazing. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. Let's get into this. So the story of Laura's life and death is explored, including her first encounter with Shadow and how exactly she came to be sitting on the edge of his motel bed. So it covers all the time we missed and brings us all the way up to the mystery of how she ended up in the motel. I really like the way that this was handled. First off, it's not your typical relationship, right? It's Laura is incredibly broken when she meets Shadow. I mean, she's attempting suicide. It seemed, often. Even if that was the first time we've seen it, I know it wasn't the last, because then they hint again later on in the episode about more cans of bug spray, whatever. I got some sort of stain on my shirt. No, I don't think it's a stain. I think it's dripped from my drink. All right, sorry about that. So Laura is incredibly broken. And then she meets Shadow, and I don't know if it's that he's a criminal or that's exciting or just the way they meet and the way it all goes down was exciting to her, whatever. But after some time, she loses a lot in the relationship. And this happens a lot in real life where you're just with someone for whatever reason, and then after time, those reasons that got you together with that person, they change, they fade, they come back, they get stronger. All types of these things happen. The human condition is very complex. So it all felt real to me, their relationship, and how you see it progress from it being like this spur of the moment thing that kind of happens for the wrong reasons out of nowhere for both of these people. And then it progresses and they're happy and they're happier, and then you kind of see it to where Shadow remains in this height of happiness. But then they start showing like Laura's face off to the side or when no one's looking, and she just starts to look more and more miserable again, like the Laura we meet in the first place. And this was just fantastically done. Now, I don't know if a lot of you noticed, but the god of death, right? The black dude who was in the last episode, and then he's the one that kind of tries to usher Laura to the afterlife. He is Anubis. And if you notice, the casino that Laura works in is, like the ancient Egyptian. Even right next to her table, her blackjack table, is a statue of Anubis. So I thought that was great. Now, and she's also a cat person and had cats her whole life. Now, the Egyptians worshipped cats, but Anubis is like a dog-faced god. So I don't know where the parallels fall there, but I really like that too. And then the use of the flies in this episode. Now, I watched it twice, and on the first viewing, I thought the flies only came after Laura had died and came back. But no, if you pay attention to the episode, there's like flies here and there throughout the episode. So I don't know if that holds some deeper or bigger meaning. We do see that Anubis turns into a dog at one point. Well, turns back from a dog. Maybe he's the fly. I don't really know. But I don't think so. Okay. All right, so we get all of that, and that to me was all great. The whole montage of their relationship was amazing, and I felt so bad for Shadow all throughout, because he really seemed like a genuine good guy who met a woman that had a spark that he saw, and it was kind of like love at first sight, I think, in Shadow's mind. I loved it. That whole montage was great. The whole thing with her cheating on him and her reasons for it. This is real life stuff. This show is doing an awesome job at bringing in real life and fantasy. It's strange saying that a show called American Gods about a war between gods feels like real life. But it does. They do a great job. So all of that was great, and then her getting ushered to the afterlife was awesome, because now we get a real sense of who Laura is, where she's looking death in the face and saying, screw you, man. I don't want to get out there with the vulgarity, right? Get my channel flagged. But, she basically says, F you, dude. I'm not letting you pull out my heart. You ain't touching me. I'm not going nowhere with you. And Anubis seems like he's maybe never encountered this, because this really pisses him off that she won't let him do his job. He even says it, that you're obstructing me from doing my job. And you're gonna go to the darkness. I'm gonna take you there. And then she all of a sudden just gets sucked out of nowhere, which was insane. And obviously it was the lucky coin. So if we remember, Mad Sweeney, once he realizes his coin is gone, he's having a string of bad luck. All these bad things are happening. So the coin really is magical. It really is lucky. And I think that is what gives Laura her life back, because now she's in possession of the coin even if it's like burned a hole in her or whatever. She's in possession of the coin. And I think that's what made her come back to life as like zombie Laura. And isn't it great being a zombie fan, loving Walking Dead and all zombie things related? I know a lot of you guys can relate because I know there's a lot of Walking Dead fans that are watching this show. Isn't it awesome to have a zombie on the show, even if she's not our traditional zombie, and even though she's more of like a comical, the Clarita Diet type of zombie, she's still a zombie, and I love it. I love it. I love it. This show is just great. And then we get to see finally how Shadow got away from Technical Boy, whatever his name is. Now, I don't know if you guys find it odd like I do. I think it's odd that the goons, those faceless, creepy goons that Technological Boy has, that they wield like blunt, like a tire iron or club, like, you know, Technological Boy. You would think they would have some sort of technological weapon, but I guess they are the technological weapon because it seems that he created them. But that was an awesome scene. Over the top action, but I think that's what we're getting with this show. Much like Spartacus, it'll grow on us. If you're not a fan of the way the blood splashes everywhere and it's so gory and everything, it'll grow on you. You'll settle into it, I promise. I had a problem with that with Spartacus too, because I don't like unbelievable action. It's one of my big gripes about a movie like 300. But after a while, you know, it grows on you and you understand that that's what they're going for. They're going for that cheap, over-the-top kind of cheesy-ishness about it, right? All right, so that was fantastic. The way we see how he got away from it now. I always thought it was Mr. Wednesday that saved him. But the fact that it was Laura is great. And you notice how when she sees him, she sees a light. Like a light. She says it like he's the light of her life or something. That's going to become important. Now, I don't know if it's because of the coin, if it's because she escaped death, if it's because Shadow has powers and now she can see his power. I don't know what that's all about. I really can't wait to see it. But I think it's going to have something to do with her teetering between life and death right now, where she's really dead but alive. And having something to do with her having sight that she didn't have before. Like being able to see ghosts or something like that. Oh, and the throwing up of the embalming fluid and the pooping out of the embalming fluid was great. I hate when shows take women and put them on this pedestal that makes it seem like they're more than human. You know? But seeing her, you know, fart and sit on the toilet and talk about all this stuff coming out of every hole in her, it makes her feel human. It humanizes the females, where a lot of shows don't do that. And I don't understand why. Probably because there's men involved and, oh, women going to the bathroom, that's disgusting. Some stupid nonsense like that. I'm sure that has something to do with it. But Stars proves that, you know, we got some cojones. And we're gonna make this as real as possible, and that means by showing the everyday disgusting things of life. Now, while I still don't like Laura for what she did to Shadow with his friend and all that, played by Dane Cook, who would have thought, right? But I really love the way it was handled. I really love the way it was done, and I'm still kind of trying to contemplate whether or not Laura hit that on purpose with her arm to kill them both, but I don't think so. Yeah, so it was a really good episode. Now, some things that I missed from this episode. I missed the usual Somewhere in America opening scene we get. I like those scenes. The fact that we got Nubis twice in a row is like, eh. And the fact that this one wasn't really the opening scene, it was half the episode. I kind of like it, but then, you know, I just missed that part. I missed Bilquist. I missed Mr. Wednesday. I missed Chernabog. This just goes to show you, how well the show is written and acted, that I'm missing these characters when they're not around. I missed Mad Sweeney, but it was still a very good, very enjoyable episode. And it showed me that the actress Emily Browning is not a bad actor. She does an awesome job here. I know the character of Laura now. So now going forward, I know who she is. I have no mystery about who Laura is. I might have some mystery about what's going on with her post rising from the dead. But I totally get a good sense of who she is. And I just love this whole episode and the relationships and the dialogue. Such a good one. So yeah, that's my least favorite. My most favorite thing of the entire episode was Laura's time with Anubis. And even after that, when she meets him with the funeral home and all that, that other guy that was with Anubis at the funeral home was the guy we see in the first episode writing the story of the Odin and the Vikings. So he's going to be a big character, and I believe he's a god as well. So I love, though, how like a god of death, not the god, but a god of death, Anubis, works in a funeral home. I think that's great. I love how they patch up Laura and they tell her that she's going to have to keep going back. They look amazed that she's alive and walking around now. And I don't know if they truly understand what's going on with Laura. I'm just really excited and interested and intrigued to see where that story goes from now on. As far as the title goes, Get Gone, I mean, I don't really have a full explanation of this one, because I don't really get it. So that's that. I'm not even going to do a production stand. I'm going to stop doing that with these shows because it's so fantastic. It's hard to pick. Everything is amazing. What I'll start doing is let you know when there's missteps on the production side of it, right? All right, so my final rating for this one, I can't give it a 5 out of 5 because I was missing so much from this episode. So it wasn't a perfect one. But it was really good and really enjoyable. So I'm going to go out on a limb and give it a 4.5 out of 5. Just the writing, the acting, and the way the story progressed in such an unpredictable manner. And how they actually, even though we feel for Shadow and we still love Shadow, and we might still dislike Laura and kind of have some hate towards Laura for what she did to him, at least now we can understand it more. And I love that. When they can take a gray character and make you a character that may be blatantly dark, right? But they can kind of pull you towards gray, where they kind of make you understand their actions, where you may not agree with their actions or condone their actions, and you may not have taken those same actions, but you can at least understand it. All right, that's it for this one. I got it down a little shorter than usual. I'm working on it. I'm sorry, guys. I love this stuff, and I can't see editing anything out. I try. Even though I hate editing, and I don't want to, because I feel like it feels more personal when I don't edit, right? Where you don't see this sudden, like, cut, right? So, it's just hard for me to edit when I love this stuff, because everything to me I want to say. So, sound off down below. Let me know what you think about my reviews, my videos in general, my approach. Anything I could do to change it, shorten it. Should I not shorten it? Should I keep it where it is? Should I go longer? Give me the info. Most importantly, though, comment on the episode. Let me know what you thought about American Gods Season 1, Episode 4. Yeah. And that's it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. Always appreciate it. And, yep, I will see you. Well, no, wait. You guys have a great day. And I will see you next time. See, I guess I could edit that. But it's more fun this way.